So this video is not about travel. This video is about life. It's about how I got scammed out of $41,000. Yes, $41,331 to be exact. My husband and I were victims of wire fraud, and the scammers took our down payment for our very first investment property 1 week before we were about to close. Needless to say, we were devastated. We've been, emotional about it. We've been angry about it because we have spent the last year, almost a whole year, putting all of the pieces into place to make sure that this happened the way we planned for it to happen. We, researched and interviewed to make sure we had the right team. We analyzed and, went under contract and came out of contract and just all of the things to make sure that we were actually purchasing the right property for us at this time that was going to give us exactly what we wanted. We even were on top of and really kept our finances as tight as we could so that we could get the right financing as well. And it was all taken away from us right at the finish line. So this video is about how to recover. It's about how to recover when your plans aren't going the way you thought they were going to go, when it's not working out the way you thought it was going to work out, when life is trying to take your shine, when you do everything right and it still don't go your way and you really want to just give up. So I'm going to share what I'm learning, what we're learning in this journey about how to bounce back and get back on track when life is throwing blows at you. Just blows. And it's not looking like it's going to work out. I'm Inez, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel, the best place for Black women who are trying to make their dreams of Black travel a reality, child. I have been to over 15 countries across 5 continents while working a full-time job, and I have planned group trips and solo trips since 2012. So no matter where you are in your travel journey, I can help you navigate the next steps to stay tripping. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications. And if you want to learn about how to bounce back when life is just not going your way, keep watching. Okay, so here's the backstory. My husband and I have been looking for our very first investment property since May of 2021. We have been scouring the city that we wanted to invest in for the perfect property that has the right cash flow, it has the right equity, it's in the right neighborhood, right? That's going to give us all of the things that we want. And so the reason why we're doing this is because we wanted to make sure that the cash flow from the property that we were purchasing would be enough to cover the mortgage at this house that we currently live in, so that no matter where we are in the world, our expenses are only a representation of the expenses that we have in that location, right? So we're not paying additional bills on cars here, houses here, other things that we got to take care of. All of these things should be done. And then whenever we decide we want to go somewhere, we can just go, right? So that's the plan. So we have gone under contract with 3 different properties, each of which have not been the property, right? For whatever reason. This property we found probably about 2 months ago, got it under contract, had a chance to have it looked at. It was perfect. It was exactly what we wanted, exactly what we needed. It checked all the boxes. So we were on our way to try to close. Fast forward to 2 weeks ago. We got an email from our realtor saying, hey, Inez, just want to make sure that you do have your money for your down payment. And I spoke to the seller's attorney and he wants to know, do you have any additional questions about closing? So I didn't get a chance to respond to the email initially, but I got a follow-up email saying, hey, just want to make sure you received this. Now, this is a normal cadence for a conversation between us and our realtor. And so instead of responding to her, I decided to call her. So I called her. She couldn't answer. She said she called me back that day. She didn't get a chance to call me back that day. Not a big deal. I just sent her a text message the next day and said, hey, yeah, I do have the money for closing, but I'm not really sure exactly what's the method that we would have to send our money to close. The only additional question I have. So got a text message back from her. She said, hey, usually for closing, you either send your money via wire or you send it via certified check. Or you pay it via certified check, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. That's my only question at this point. I couldn't think of any other questions. So I was like, great. So we got an email from our broker on the same email thread saying, hey, Inez and Tawanda, I'm going to send you the wiring instructions in order to send your money to the trust so that you can close on your property. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, waiting on these wire instructions. Got an email in the same thread from our attorney saying, thanks for including me on this thread, right? So we're like, all right, cool. Waiting on the instructions, moving on, doing the things that we do. A couple of days later, I think on Monday of last week, we got an email saying, hey, I'm going to send you the instructions tomorrow morning. Make sure you wire your money for closing tomorrow morning so that we can move your closing along. So we're like, okay, cool. We get the instructions, and interestingly enough, my husband Tawanda spoke with our broker and said, hey, we got the instructions, wiring, so I'm going to do that today, or whatever he said to him. And our broker was like, I'm surprised that they sent you the instructions so soon, but okay, right? So we've gotten 2 confirmations from 2 people that we work with, either verbally or via text message, that we should move forward, right? And so we wire the funds last Tuesday on March 15th, 2022, wire the money. And then on March 16th, Tawanda was talking to our broker, and he was saying, where did y'all say you wired this money to? And he was like, we wired it to the place you told us to. And our broker was like, what do you mean I told you to? He was like, using the instructions you sent us. He was like, I don't remember sending you instructions. And we're like, what are you talking about, sir? So we ended up forwarding him the email that we got with the instructions, and come to find out, that email did not come from him. It came from a scammer. And we ended up finding out that none of the emails in that entire thread, from the initial email from our realtor, the response from our attorney, and the email from our broker, none of those emails came from any of those people. The whole thread was a scam. So we sent our money for our down payment, $41,331. I will never forget this number, I feel like, in my entire life. To somebody we have no idea who it is, some scammer. And I mean, needless to say, we were devastated, angry, upset. Like, my heart dropped. I was freaking out. My husband has a video, which I'll use, of like just my initial response, because, you know, when it initially happened, we were just like, what the F? And so immediately went about trying to fix the situation and figure out what the heck to do next. So as we have been going through this process, I'm at a state right now where I'm not at peace completely, but I'm feeling way better than I was a few days ago. And I had to sit and think about, like, exactly how did I get here? Because if you would have told me on Tuesday or Wednesday that I would be sitting here in front of you today saying, I'm okay, like I'm all right, I would not have believed you. So I wanted to share some of the things that we've done in this journey of, you know, trying to bounce back and recover from hard stuff. When life deals you a hard blow, when things don't work out, when people do you wrong, right? When, you know, one of the things my husband said was, you know, we put in a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of discipline, a lot of mindset stuff in order to make sure that this was going the way we wanted it to go, like to achieve our goal. And somebody who didn't do anything just decided they were going to step in and try to take it away. And it's just unfair. And it's a hard pill to swallow. Nonetheless, I wanted to share some of the things that we're doing, that we've done in order to move past the initial shock and devastation and into a space of getting back at it and going back after what is ours. So the first thing is feeling the feelings. We have been feeling the feelings. We're just allowing ourselves to feel the feeling, especially initially. Like, sometimes, you know, one of my favorite life coaches, Brooke Castillo, says, like, people are so tormented when they are hurt or they're having hard feelings because they don't allow themselves to just feel the feeling, right? Like, it's nothing bad about just feeling it. So we allowed ourselves to be mad. We allowed ourselves to be sad. We allowed ourselves to be disappointed. You know, I cried. Like, just allow myself to feel the things and be human in this experience, because it's hard to do. It's hard to swallow. One of the things that, you know, helps me sometimes is to write out my feelings, like just write them out as opposed to just feeling them all inside, like kind of get them out of my head. I have a model that I use in order to help me process them, but sometimes just writing them out is just as if you were just talking to yourself or talking to someone, is super helpful. So that would be the first thing I would say to do, is don't run from your feelings. Like, just allow yourself to feel them, but don't let them drag you in the mud, but do allow yourself to feel them. The second thing I would say is remember who you are and what you've overcome. I saw a clip of a video recently where Steve Harvey talked about how, you know, all of us who are still alive and still are living have 100% success record of overcoming the hardest days of our life, right? If you're still here, you've had some hard days and you have overcome every single one of them. Right? If you're still here, you've overcome every single one of them. So remember that. And it, you know, I have had to remember that during this time. One of the things I think I have shared here, I don't even know if I have shared or not, was that, you know, I had a journey where I was pregnant for the first time. I was newly married and I was battling cancer, bladder cancer specifically. And so, you know, one of the things my husband said to me a few days ago was, he was like, babe, you know, we beat cancer together. What is this? Like, this is going to be nothing. We beat cancer together, right? We've, you know, on top of that, we have, you know, had 2 children in 3 years, and we've only been married for 3 years. So, I mean, serious, like, so just remembering who you are in these times is really important. You know, remember who you are and remember that you can do hard things, and affirm, you know, what you believe about yourself. One of the things is, you know, we had a whole dance party to DJ Khaled's song, All We Do Is Win, because it was like, even with this, like, at the end of the day, if we look back over our life, all we do is win. All we have done is win, and all we will do is win. So just reminding ourselves of that was really helpful. Another mantra that we have is everything is perfect, which basically means, like, if it's happening, then it's supposed to happen this way, and it will manifest itself in the way it's supposed to. So everything is perfect. And also, we don't quit. Like, it was one of the things that, you know, we were saying to each other, and then we just happened to be sitting at the table with our daughter True, and she we held hands with her and we were like, we don't quit, True, we don't quit. She's like, we don't quit. So it's just been cool for her to, like, experience that and learn that about her family and about herself. Like, we don't quit. We're not going to quit just because it's hard. So allow yourself to feel the emotions, but know and affirm to yourself that you don't quit when it gets hard. That's who you are, right? Third thing is focus more on what you want than what you don't want. Now, this is going to be hard. I'm going to tell you now, this is going to be hard because your body and your emotions and your mind are going to want you to focus on what you don't want. And it's going to want you to focus on what you naturally feel, right? What you're naturally feeling, right? So you're feeling sad. Your body just wants to stay sad. It wants to stay depressed. It wants to stay upset. It wants to stay devastated, all of the things, right? And it wants you to focus on what you don't want to happen, right? So for instance, one of the things we don't want to happen is for us not to be able to get our money back, right? We don't want that to happen, right? But what I would challenge you to do is focus on what you do want, right? Focus on what you do want, not what you don't want. And it's a slight shift, but it's so important because what you focus on grows, and what you focus on is what comes into your life. So we're focusing on getting our money back, right? We're focusing on when it comes back, when it arrives, how excited we're going to be when it comes back, right? How we're going to end up having more than we actually even had before when it arrives, right? Just affirming that to ourselves and speaking it with our language is what is the way that we're approaching it. Make sure that you're putting more energy. This is how you can do this. This is how you can focus more on what you want and than what you don't want. Make sure that you're putting more energy into strategizing on getting what you want than feeling sorry about what has happened, or feeling sad about what has happened, or focusing on what you don't want, right? Or thinking about what you don't want. One of the things that we have been doing is watching videos of people who have gotten their money back, right? That's what we're choosing to input into us. People getting their money back. I don't care how many people ain't got their money back. We get our money back. And so I'm continually, and I don't know where it's going to come from, but it's going to come back. So I'm continuing to watch people who've gotten their money back. I am looking for people who can help me get my money back. And I'm brainstorming ideas on how to get access to more money, right? Because they don't have to come back from the person it went to. it is just going to come back, right? So there's a difference. So that is another thing that I would suggest that you do. And one of the things that we have done that has been super helpful is just like refocusing. Like we took a moment, we went outside and we just literally like walked in our yard and just started spitting out ideas of like how to strategize and move forward, right? What's the next steps? We can't change what happened. All we can change is the future. So how can we still get to the future that we want, right? As opposed to focusing on what you want instead of what you don't want, stay away from people who only want to talk about what you don't want, right? Like, I'm not trying to hear from nobody who going to be talking about how, you know, we just can't get the money back and nobody gets their money back and just, no, And on top of that, stay away from the people who have the I told you so attitude, right? The people who are like, girl, I knew you shouldn't have invested in real estate. I knew you shouldn't have been trying to, I wouldn't have. The I told you so mentality usually comes from people who are afraid to pursue their dreams. They're not people who are going after stuff and taking risks. It's really people who are watching. As Brene Brown would say, and I think it's a Theodore Roosevelt quote, these are the people who are not in the arena, right? The people who are in the arena are fighting for their dreams. They're fighting for their goals. They're fighting for the life that they want. And the people who are watching in the stands and who, you know, would never get down into the arena are always going to be the people who are going to drag you into the negativity and the bad thoughts and all of those things. So make sure you stay away from those people. And we are absolutely doing that as well. The fourth thing I would say is feed your mind what you want it to think, right? And this kind of ties into the third thing, but your mind, our minds have been all over the place. Like, I have felt all of the emotions. I have thought all the thoughts, like the what ifs, the I should know better, the shame, the guilt, the fear, just the disappointment. Just, I have thought and felt all of the things, right? But I have to take charge of the voice in my head because I am in charge, right? And I have to show it who's boss, basically. You have to show your voice in your head who's boss too. And the way you can do that is by feeding your mind what you want it to think, as opposed to just allowing it to think whatever it wants to think. I do that. I drown out the thoughts in my head by listening to things that are uplifting, like whether it be videos, podcasts, whatever it is, right? So for instance, this is something you can do right now. I don't know if y'all know how the algorithms of all the social medias work, but basically the more you engage with stuff, the more you see of it. So if you're going through something, start engaging with stuff that empowers you, that gives you new thoughts, that makes you think new things, that makes you feel better, that makes you feel strong mentally, physically, and emotionally. Start engaging with those types of posts and you will see more and more and more of them. You'll see more videos, you know, just don't just be engaging on stuff that's just gonna make you laugh or, you know, that's gonna distract you. Engage with things that are going to empower you. I have been so focused on posts that have quotes, that have videos, that, you know, whatever platform they're on, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever it is, that are pouring into me. I've been saving them. I've been sharing them with my husband, because that way I'm basically feeding my mind more of what I want it to think, as opposed to just allowing it to think whatever it is thinking, right? So I suggest that you do the same thing. It has really been helpful for me. And I feel like now I'm in a place, and it's only been a couple of days, like every time I look up, there's a quote that is literally just what I needed to see in order to shift my mind back into focusing on what I want as opposed to what I don't want. The last thing is find things to be grateful for, right? You know, I have 2 little ones, and every day, like, they're just happy for no reason. Like, you know, kids just be happy for no reason. Like, they're just happy for no reason. And I'm so grateful to have them in my life so that I can see what's really important. Because at the end of the day, like, yeah, we lost a lot of money. It ain't nothing to sneeze at. But based on my research, yeah, it ain't as much as some people have lost. I saw a couple who was married with a 1-year-old who were living with their family until they finalized and closed on the house that they were going to live in, their actual house. And they had wired $800,000 to a scammer. All of their money. They didn't have a house to live in. That was going to be their house. So in the grand scheme of things, although it's a lot of money and although it ain't nothing to sneeze at, like, it could always be worse. And I'm grateful that at the end of the day, we still have all the things that we need to survive. We have more than enough to survive, and that we have, different ideas and strategies to come up in order to continue on this journey to build the wealth that we want and the lifestyle that we want, so we can live, as free as we want to live, right? The other thing that I'm really grateful for is the fact that this situation has brought me and my husband so much closer. Like, we have had some of the most real and uplifting and encouraging and supportive conversations of each other during this time than we've had in quite a while. And I think that, of course, they always say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But in this case, it's like what was sent to try to devastate us has brought us closer. And I am really grateful for that. So, just finding things to be grateful for. And then the other thing is, like, choosing to take your losses and take your hard lessons and, the pains of life and giving them over to people, like I'm giving them over to you now, so that, other people can learn from your mistakes. I think Tony Robbins, is it Tony Robbins? I think it's Tony Robbins who talks about how, like, the way that you can build something, create a life that somebody else has taken significantly longer to build or to create, is by doing what they did and then learning from their mistakes. And so I wanted to just share this mistake with you all so that you can learn from my mistakes. You can learn from our mistakes. You can be diligent and have diligence with regard to making sure that, the messages that you get from the people that you're working with, whether you're on a real estate journey, whether you are planning your trip and you have somebody booking it for you, like, just making sure that, the people that you're corresponding with via email are actually the people that they say they are. Cybersecurity is not a joke. And it's not like we were just out here all willy-nilly. Like, we actually did, follow up with the people that we thought we were talking to. And because the emails were just so in line with the way we communicate with people, nobody noticed, right? We didn't notice, our realtor didn't notice, and our broker didn't notice. Like, nobody noticed that something was wrong. Nobody called up the red flag, like, no, you got instructions, like, no, you shouldn't be doing this, like, no, right? And of course, this is our very first time, so we had no idea. So we wanted to share this with you, right? So that I can empower you to be in a better position, whether you're doing real estate or, whether you're doing anything online that requires a financial transaction, or just in life in general, like when you're dealing with the hard things. All right, y'all, that's it. That's all. I hope this video has given you some hope when life is not going your way, when plans are not working out, and when you want to give up. Let me tell you, it is not easy, okay? It's not easy, but it can be done. So whether you are planning a trip or you're pursuing a goal, or if you're like us and you're trying to invest in your future to create the life that you want for yourself and your children, life is bound to throw you some curveballs. It's going to throw some blows. It definitely threw us a blow. But remember, regardless if you're stripped of everything that you have or everything that you have planned, you have the power to bounce back, because your life is not dependent upon what you have. It is dependent upon who you are. Okay? If you feel like you're at a place where you want to give up on your travel goals, right? And you need someone to help you refocus and hold you accountable and help you to make your dreams of Black travel a reality, I do offer one-on-one coaching. So book a sales call with me, and the link is in the description below. If you made it this far in the video, I want you to comment, "It's in me." It's in me in the comments below. And let me know, what is in you? What do you have in you that's going to help you to bounce back when life is throwing blows and it just ain't working out? I want to know. Also, let me know if you have any contacts at Bank of America or at Signature Bank New York, that can help us with getting our money back. That would be really helpful. Or if you have any ideas about how we can potentially access some additional capital, so we can just keep the party going, right? So we just keep moving forward. We're willing to partner with people. You know, this is our life plan. So if you have any ideas, we are open to suggestions. If you want to dive into Black travel without booking a flight, make sure you download my digital cheat sheet called Finding Big Fun. It has all of the sites, all of the hashtags, just a lot of the things that I use in order to add travel to my life and find fun ways to immerse myself into travel when I'm not trying to leave the United States. The link is in the description below. If you want to see more or hear more about how this story is going, or you want to see more about how I find the time, the money, and the strategy to make my dreams of Black travel a reality, make sure you go follow me on Instagram at International Inez. I would love to have comments and connection with the people who are a part of my YouTube family. Lastly, if you love this video, then I know you are one of my people. So make sure you show me some love by liking this video, subscribing to my channel so that you can learn more about how to transform your life through travel and sometimes just get through life stuff. And until we meet again, stay tripping. Thank you.